Hey guys, welcome to my channel and I'm back again with another really interesting video. So in this video guys, we are going to understand more about Autotrain, and actually we are going to live demo an Autotrain model and see how we can actually throw some test data at it and how it actually performs. So yes, today's video is all going to be how we can auto-train our model, deploy it on Huggingface and test it out with the Gradio app. So majorly I am taking this video guys because a lot of you guys in my previous videos commented about Autotrain and wanted to more understand about this and wanted to learn how they can actually play with it in a more deeper manner. So I thought I'll do a dedicated video on Autotrain for you guys to make it understand much better. Okay, so without taking any time further, let's get started with Autotrain. So guys, if you have seen my previous video, you might already know that Autotrain is a fine-tuning tool that has been given to us by Huggingface. So what it does is that it provides us with a simple user interface that you can use to fine-tune any large language model that you can find on Huggingface with your own data set. Okay, so now so this is a page where you can understand more about Autotrain, but I'll go straight into the demo part. So first of all guys, you just have to go into spaces and just click on create new space, and let's say if you name your space Autotrain, and then all you have to do is go to Docker templates, select Autotrain and select the hardware. So guys, if you want to use the free hardware, then you can use the CPU basic 16 GB, but if you have a model which is much larger in size, then the 16 GB free CPU might not work for you, so you can select some of the paid versions. But remember guys that if you want to use a paid version, you have to enter your billing information in Huggingface. Okay, so we'll just take the free one, and then guys, this is the Huggingface token. So again, you can go to your Huggingface profile. So let me go to my Huggingface profile here and go to settings. Click on access and tokens, copy the token which is the right token that you have created, and just paste that token here, and let's go to the next part. That is your Huggingface token. Now you can create this Autotrain space and make it public. So if you make it public, basically anyone is able to look at this space and train the model, or you can make it private if you just want to use it as your personal space and you do not want anyone else to use it. So I'll just make it public so that any one of you guys wanted to refer it, you will be able to. So after filling all these parameters guys, you just click on create space and your space will be created. Okay, this is really an easy part. So once your space is created, you can actually go to your profile. So if I go to my profile, Super Lazy Coder, you can see that there was a Autotrain space that I already created just before making this video. And I can just click on this, and this looks exactly like the space you will see when you will create your own Autotrain space. Okay, so here's the thing guys. Now we have to tune the parameters to fine tune our model. So the first thing is, what do you want to name your project? So here you can see guys that the project name is by default given to us like Autotrain. Some random string is here, so you can obviously change this name, but for making it simple, I'll just keep the name as it is. Now comes the hardware. So we want to use the local hardware guys, because this is not a paid Autotrain. We are using a free model. Let's just use a log. So we only get the option of local. Okay, if you would have selected a paid one, then we might have gotten some different hardware options, but not in this case. Now the task. So what do you actually want to fine tune? So let's say if you want to do a DPO based fine tuning, a generic fine tuning, or do you want to create some more text classification categories? You want to train your text classification models with more data, with more classification categories. So image task and tabular task, etc., etc. These are the fine tuning options. So we are just going to go with the very simplest use case of text classification. what we are going to do is we are going to take this sentiment sentiment model, which is the Cardiff F NLP Twitter based sentiment model. Okay, and we are just going to fine tune it with our own sentiment data. Okay, so you selected the text classification. Now you have the model selection. So as I told you that I'll just be using the default model, which is a Twitter based sentiment latest. But what you can do is you can actually select any of the models. And you can see here that because I selected text classification in the previous drop down, these models are already filtered. So now I only see the models which are for text classification. If I would have selected, let's say, image classification, then you can see all the models that are shown here are for image classification. Okay. So let's select text classification again, and the Twitter model is already selected. Now comes the training data. And for that you see that this is the column mapping that is given to us, and I previously explained you as well that when you upload your training data either has to be in the format that is given here, or you mention here what is the format that your training data has. So let me show you my training data. So this is, guys, my training data. So this is a senti.csv. So this is called a sentiment CSV, and you can see this is how it looks like. Okay, I basically have got two columns here. One is the text column, one is the target column. The text column is the sentences, the target column is the sentiment. So I have got this CSV file created for me, and only 6 sentences I have added here. Just remind this thing, guys, that you at least need 2 of your sentences or 2 values of your data set as testing data. So if you think that I can train it with 4 sentences or with 3 sentences, you will not be able to do so, because you need at least enough data so that the 60% of your data or 70% of data could be training data. So let's say 4 sentences are training data and then 2 sentences are testing data. Okay. So this is the senti.csv that I have created. So now you can see that here we have only 2 columns, text and target, and this is a one-to-one mapping to the column mapping that is given to us. So for our training data set, actually the text column is a text column, and the label column, that is what classification I am giving, is our label column, and that label column in this case is target column. So our target is actually our label and our text is just a text, right? And I also told you that if you are predicting multiple categories, classifying multiple categories, then you can give them multiple column names. So let's say you are also classifying the target and you are also classifying maybe the mood, right? So then you can give 2 classification labels as well in a comma separated manner. Okay, but we want to keep it very, very simple. So we are just taking the text column and the target column, where text is mapped to the text key obviously, and target column is mapped to the label key. Okay, so now we can upload our training data. So there goes my training data, and now I can click on start training. But there is one more thing that needs to be changed here, and that basically thing is this mixed precision parameter. So you can see once you click on start training, the training hyperparameters that will be used to actually train or fine tune your model will be these ones. These are the default parameters provided to you. However, in this case, guys, this will not work because the mixed precision FP16 only works with GPU. And you remember that we selected a CPU, not a GPU. So if you have a GPU or your CUDA based system, then you can definitely keep this parameter. But because we have got CPU, I will simply remove it. And in fact, not just this thing. If you want to edit any of the parameter here, you will be able to do that, and you are able to do that, and you can then see the effects of your fine tuning on your model. Okay. So now I have received the mix. I have removed the mixed precision parameter. I can click on start training. Now it says that it is a paid offering because auto training, most of the models except one are all paid. So if this incurs any charges, it will be deducted from your billing account. So remember guys, just keep that into consideration whenever you are auto trading. Okay, now I click on yes, I am sure. This says that there is an error. So this can definitely happen guys. Now we want to understand how to debug this error. Then you go to click logs, and now here you can see what was the exact error. Okay, so here say error tokenizing the data, expected 2 fields in line 4 and then saw 3. Okay, so definitely there is some issue with the parsing of our data. So here we have to do some debugging and find out what was the issue. So sometimes it may be possible that it's a bit difficult to debug in this case. So what you can do is you can open this CSV file as an Excel sheet. So we can do that as well, and you can debug in that way. Okay, so let's click here and let's try to debug that, and let's see if what could have been the issue with this case. Okay, so let me do this. Okay, so you can see here that this goes fine, and okay, so basically what I think is that the sentence that we have here is having a comma, and that is the issue, because this comma shouldn't have been here, and the comma in case of CSV will actually separate out the columns, which we don't want, right? So the only comma that we have should be when the CSV is actually separating from the sentiment. Okay, so that is the issue. But you know what, that's the thing, right? Why I'm debugging it in front of you guys is just to make you understand that you will also have the problems like this when you are doing your auto train. Okay, so then you don't have to get startled or anything like that. You just have to look at the logs and find out the issue and then simply resolve it. Okay, so save as, simply in my downloads I'll save it senti.csv, and then go to all files and then save, and then I'll just replace the other one. Okay, because it's open in my Excel, so I can do that, and now I think this is saved. Now let me go back to my auto train again and click on upload training file one more time. Select the senti.csv and click on start training. Yes, I'm sure. And this time you guys, you can see that the process is a success. So we did not get a 500 error. Now let's look at the logs and let's see what's happening. And there you go guys. You can see that it is actually training. It is selecting the weights. It is doing all the hyperparameter configuration, and it is creating the model files. So when you create a model, it has got its config.json, it has got its PyTorch file, it has got its safe tensors file to load the model and to successfully run it through transformers API. And you can see here that in this log it clearly shows that it is actually training the model, and in a few moments you will see the model will be trained and it will be available for us to use. Okay, so while this is still running guys, I'll also introduce you to something called as Autotrain Python API, which you can use if you actually want to auto train your model, but not with this user interface, but maybe with the code. Okay, so if you are a developer guys and you want to auto train using some script, maybe you want to automate it, or it's just your choice, then you can do that with the help of Autotrain-advanced module. Okay, so basically guys, you have this notebook, and this notebook is provided to us by Huggingface itself. I will definitely put the link in the description, but you can see if you just click on the code here, you can see that this Autotrain API module of Python is the one which we are using with LLM and all the hyperparameters. For example, the model name, the project name, everything that we were feeding in that user interface, everything we just provide here. we just run this simple command, and it is going to not only auto train our model, it is also going to push our model to the repository. Okay, and if you want to use this notebook UI, then you can use this UI as well, because this Huggingface, Google Colab user interface also give you all the configuration, the same configuration that we were doing on Huggingface UI. Okay, so if you want to push to Huggingface, you can make it true, and if you don't want to push to Huggingface, you can just make it false and use the model only as part of this Colab notebook, or download it on your local machine and use whenever you want, right? And if you click on the show code of the first part, you can see that to use this Autotrain Python module, you just have to do pip install Autotrain-advanced. Okay, so once you do that, and then you just run this simple command, not so simple, but the command with all the hyperparameters mentioned here, then you will be able to auto train your model with this notebook as well. Let's go back and let's see if this has actually worked. So seems to me like the space is paused. So because our auto train space is paused, it could be possible that our model is trained. So how to know that my model is trained? You go into your community section, guys. You can see once you go into your community section, you will see the notifications here. And 3 minutes ago, it says my training has been finished and it is successfully finished, right? So when you click on that, you can see that the training is successful, and I can check out my trained model here. So I'll just click on that, and there you go, guys. This model which we just trained has now appeared in my model section. You can even go to this model by going to your profile and just scrolling down and going to models. Okay, so even in this model section you can find out this model. Now how do I test this model? That is the next part, and for that Huggingface has given us a inference API. So for text classification, you can just do any text here. So let's say I love YouTube. So if you click on compute here, it is going to use the same auto train model that we actually did, and it is going to load the positive or the negative sentiment, basically the probability, like how much it is positive and how much it is negative. So it is still doing that, and there you go. You can see, so I love YouTube, basically 52% is positive and 47% is negative, right? So for us, guys, if you have read the sentiment dataset that we used, actually we use a lot of relationship breakup text, and we use some of the relationship flirting text, and we created these 6 sentence database. And what we wanted to do was to create a model that can easily detect if there are certain sentences told you, or certain text that you get in a relationship or when you go on a date. Is it a positive sentiment sentence or is it a negative sentiment sentence? Okay, so you can use any of your experiences of those texts that you have gotten, and you can put them here and click on compute and find out if the sentiment from the other person was positive or negative. Okay, so I would encourage you guys to try that. But there's one more thing. Some of you might not like this UI because you have their model. Let's say you want to share this model with somebody. Let's say you created a chatbot that can actually detect the correct sentiment and give you some dating advice or some relationship advice, right? That, okay, somebody said this to you, was it a positive or was it a negative sentiment? You don't want to give them this UI, right? They don't understand models. It is going to be confusing for them. So then Huggingface gives you a method to deploy. Okay, so what you can do is you can click on inference endpoint. What you can do is click on spaces, and it says deploy as a Gradio app in one click. Okay, so you just click on spaces and create new space. So it will use this Gradio code and it will actually launch your space. You don't have to mention anything here. Just click on create space, okay, because everything is selected for you. Now this is going to take 1 or 2 minutes, but after those 1 or 2 minutes, an entire chatbot is ready for you, and you can just share that link of that chatbot with anybody you want, and you can ask them to test their relationship text, and then they can find out what's the sentiment of that. Was it a positive sentiment, or if it was a negative sentiment. Okay. Now this was just an example that I created, guys, but what you can also do. Okay, so here you can see, guys, that I got an error. It's saying that it is a private or a gated model. Okay, so for that reason I was not able to deploy it in this app. So let's go to my model again. Okay, because what Autotrain did was that the Autotrain created your model, but whenever it creates a model, it keeps it private. So what you can do is you can make it public. So go to the settings and you can use make public. Once you make it public, now anyone can use it, and you can use this model freely in Gradio, or you can use it freely in your local application as well using the Transformers API. If you want to use it using the Transformers API, this is the code to do that. You can just click on Transformers and you will get the entire code. But obviously if you just want to deploy it using Gradio, again you can click on spaces, click on create new space, and go to, just click on create space. Okay, so you already created this repo, so I'm just gonna name it part 2, so that now this time it allows me to create it. And there you go, guys, you can see that now it started to build. Okay, so this is just one data set that I trained this model with, guys, and I only used a bunch of sentences. You can use a whole data set that you can get from anywhere you want to source it from, and you can create your own models, create your own chat applications, use them on your local machine, use them on Google Colab, use them wherever you want. Okay, just remember, guys, that while you auto train, you might go into these small issues. Just remember that there is a log button that you can click to debug your auto train issues. And obviously when you go to your model, make sure that you make it public if you want to actually use it in your code. Okay, so now you can see that it has actually deployed my model, and there you go, guys. You can see that it is giving me a proper chat like field, where I don't have those confusing model parameters and all those things that I could see in the previous page. I simply have an input button and a submit button, right? So let's say if I input here, I love YouTube, okay? And if I click on submit, you can see that this gives me a different sentiment, gives me 48% positive and 52% negative. So I don't know why Gradio, when I use this model with Gradio, it is giving me a different sentiment, but it has to be the same thing. So it is possible that the model behaves differently when fed the same data again, okay? Because it's a machine learning model, so it definitely will not behave exactly same on giving the same data, okay? Let's say you want to input, I want a breakup, something like this negative sentence. So obviously this sentence is definitely negative because this is not a good sentence. I am positive about this. Let's see. Okay, so I'm positive about this, so that is definitely a good sentence. So it says 52% positive and 48% negative. But yeah, so this is it, guys. That was a complete end-to-end demo of how you can auto-train your models, deploy the models on Huggingface, and even auto-train using the Google Colab. I have shown you that part as well. So if you want to try that out, please you try it out. I will put down the link to the notebook in the description below. So that was the video, guys. I hope those of you who had certain issues while using Autotrain, all of their problems are going to be resolved after this video, and I hope you did like this video. If you did, then please do not forget to like this video and share this video with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, feedback for me, please do write down the feedback in the comment section below. I would be really happy to address them. And if you guys have not yet subscribed to my channel, then please do subscribe and hit the bell icon, guys, for future notifications of more such programming and coding related videos. I'll see you guys in the next video guys. Until then, take care and bye bye.